Teeny Tiny. Once upon a time there lived a teeny tiny old woman. She lived in a teeny tiny house in a teeny tiny street with a teeny tiny cat. One day the teeny tiny woman decided to go out for a teeny tiny walk. She put on her teeny tiny boots and her teeny tiny bonnet, and off she set. When she had walked a teeny tiny way down the teeny tiny street, she went through a teeny tiny gate into a teeny tiny graveyard, which was a teeny tiny shortcut to a teeny tiny meadow. Well, she had only taken a few teeny tiny steps when she saw a teeny tiny bone lying on top of a teeny tiny grave. She thought that would do very well to make some teeny tiny soup for supper, so she put the teeny tiny bone in her teeny tiny pocket and went home at once to her teeny tiny house. Now, the teeny tiny woman was tired when she reached her teeny tiny house, so she did not make the teeny tiny soup immediately, but put the teeny tiny bone into her teeny tiny cupboard. Then she sat in her teeny tiny chair and put her teeny tiny feet up and had a teeny tiny sleep. But she had only been asleep a teeny tiny time when she woke up at the sound of a teeny tiny voice coming from her teeny tiny cupboard. The teeny tiny voice said, "Where is my teeny tiny bone?" Well, the teeny tiny woman was a teeny tiny bit frightened, so she wrapped her teeny tiny shawl round her teeny tiny head and went to sleep again. She had only been asleep a teeny tiny time when the teeny tiny voice came from the teeny tiny cupboard again, a teeny tiny bit louder this time. "Where is my teeny tiny bone?" The teeny tiny woman was a teeny tiny bit more frightened than last time, so she hid the teeny tiny cushions, but she could not go back to sleep, not even a teeny tiny bit. Then the teeny tiny voice came again, and this time it was even a teeny tiny bit louder. "Where is my teeny tiny bone?" This time the teeny tiny woman sat up in her teeny tiny chair and said in her loudest teeny tiny voice, "Take it!" There was a teeny tiny silence, and then a teeny tiny ghost ran out of the teeny tiny house, down the teeny tiny street, through the teeny tiny gate, into the teeny tiny graveyard, with a teeny tiny bone clutched very tightly in its teeny tiny hand. And the teeny tiny woman never took a teeny tiny walk there ever again. The end.